Hey everyone, my name is Ray, and I am here to. I just started a new YouTube channel to teach people how to use Clip Studio Paint and also how to do general workflow when you're doing art projects. So um in the ability to save a little bit of time because I don't want this video to go too long, I've already set up my sketch layer. So the way this works is you start usually with a sketch layer, you draw out your sketch, and then on your sketch layer you drop the opacity to I dropped it to 14. It depends on how thick your lines are, but usually anywhere between 50 and 25, drop the opacity so that you don't have any straight lines confusing you or anything like that. Then your next layer is going to be an ink layer. And when you do your ink layer, it's going to be on top of your sketch layer, and you need to make sure that up here where it says blending mode, that you put it on multiply. The reason why that is that once you've done your line art, and you turn back your sketch layer all the way up, it's easier to do the coloring because the coloring you can get underneath the lines and it won't color over your lines, so you're not going to miss anything. So let's get started. I usually start with the do my inking with the G pen, and the only reason why that is because it feels more like traditional inking, and so for me that's really the way that I like to do it. Sometimes I use the G pen also to do some coloring. We'll get to that when we get to that area. So right now, you can see that I'm on my ink layer. You can see that my sketch is here. I tend to make my brush a really small size when I'm doing my inking, and because the thicker that you make the ink, the more that it can be messy, or if sometimes if you push too hard with the pen, it'll be an inky mess. So I tend to make it much smaller. So to pan around in Clip Studio Paint, you hold on the space bar and you use your pen on your tablet, and you just move around as you need to. Uh, Other functions that are really important is Control Z, Control C, Z, as in zebra, will undo your last line or whatever it is that you did. Control Y will bring it back. Uh, Other keyboard shortcuts that are really important is P. Hit P once, it will be your pen or pencil. Hit it again, and you'll have your the opposite pen, pencil, whatever. Another one that I use very often is, excuse me, I use Control plus and minus to zoom in and out. Uh, the brackets, left bracket will make the brush smaller, right bracket will make the brush larger. So also to move the canvas, you have one of two ways to do this. You can come down here and you can do plus or minus, um, down here, and it will rotate the canvas. Or you can use the minus by itself or the apostrophe by itself. Hitting apostrophe will move it to the right, hitting minus will move it to the left. Okay, so let's get started. Right now I'm going to pan down and I'm going to start my inking process. Now it's really important with inking, and inking is boring. I'm not going to lie and say, oh, it's the most exciting thing in the world, because it's far from it. But it is a really important part of your workflow and a really important part of your overall art, because your inking will establish everything else. It will establish your ability to color. It'll establish your ability to draw stuff. It's really important. Like I said, it's boring. It's technical. It's boring. It's not overly creative, but it's one of those necessary evils. So, now, you see where I'm not, you can see here where my inking is not great. So I'm going to hit Control Z, and I'm going to move around. I'm going to pan it a little. I'm going to move the canvas around. It's very important that if like you're not able to get the line exactly the way you want it, just rotate the canvas. I'm left-handed, so a lot of times it's more difficult sometimes than a right-handed person, but that doesn't mean that it can't be done. So if you see me panning the screen, moving the screen around, or you see me turning the canvas, it's just because I'm able to get better lines. You see right there, again, I'm going to rotate the canvas more so that it will allow me to more easily ink. And you can see that that's the case here. Also, I can sometimes I'll go from a different direction and I'll pull it closed. So again, this is Doug. It's a Nickelodeon cartoon. Um, It's a very cute cartoon. I don't know if it's still around anywhere. It was on. I was older when it was on, but it's cute and I liked it. I always liked Doug, and that's that. Also, if you have some black, like the eyes here are black, I tend to do that while I'm inking, just because later on down the road, as we color, it makes it a little bit easier. And sometimes I have to go back and color it in anyway, but to get at least this part out of the way and get it looking the way I really want it, I try to do all of that kind of black um, inking here during the inking process. Again, like I said, there's going to be times where I'm going to have to do it again, but it just gives me that ability to have a little bit more control. The one thing I love about Clip Studio Paint is the amount of control that you have over your art. I've only been working with it for about a month, maybe two, a little less than 2 months, and I really, really love this program. In the beginning, I was really frustrated because, uh, if I was a Photoshop guy, and I still am. I use Photoshop for different things, but this works sort of like Photoshop, but not, if that makes sense. There is an immense number of tools and things to help you do basically whatever you want. And there's a million things on here that I still have no idea how to do, or even where to find it. And you know what? That's fine. Uh, Also, with Clip Studio Paint, they really nicely they have their own resources, so they have their own tutorials and stuff like that to help you. Uh, Also, they offer a 30-day free trial, which is kind of unheard of with any of the art programs. Usually, you're lucky if you can get a week, but they give you a month free. And right now, I believe that when you get the month free, they're giving you the EX version. The EX version is a little more than $200 normally. The Pro version, which I have, runs about $50. The difference between the two generally, that as far as I know, the difference is really the ability to make more than one page at the same time. So here in the Pro version, so if you're doing a manga comic or a comic book or anything like that, with the Pro version, you're only going to be able to do one page at a time. So if you're not using the program to create comics or manga or whatever, then you really don't need to be paying $200 for the EX. Uh, right now, I purchased the Pro version. They also, if you have one of the other versions, Pro, they also offer a pretty nice deal to upgrade if and when you want to. Also, they run sales. uh, you can get the program for as little as like 29 or $30, I think, when they're running a sale. I'm not sure when they run sales. So if you don't have the program, or you're thinking about the program, or you're doing the free trial, just keep that in mind that you might get lucky and hit when they're having a sale. So from what I understand, the sale could be like around 29 $30 for the Pro, and the EX is like $100, which is like half off, which is perfect. Uh, so they're really, like I said, I'm really impressed with this program. It has so many features, so many functions to make your life so much easier. Especially when we come to the coloring phase, and I'll go more into it when we get there. But it's just such a powerful program. It really, really is. Like I said, the only really drawback, at least for me in the beginning, is I was really frustrated because it's not. There's it is a big learning curve, because like I said, there is just so much involved, so much stuff that they have, which is like really great. But when you're trying to learn some stuff and you're trying to use the program, it can be frustrating. But honestly, within a month and a half here, I've learned a lot about the program. There, like I said, there's still a ton of stuff that I had no idea how to do. But for what I need it for, at least at this point, what I do know how to do is perfectly fine for what I need to do. I also took a course on Udemy, however you say it, it using on how to use this program, which is also very helpful. And again, like I said, they have a million tutorials on their main page, on Clip Studio Paint's main page, that you can learn a whole lot of stuff. Also, they have like a ton of brushes, a ton of things on their site, a lot of which are free. that you're able to download for free, and those that aren't free are really their prices are really low. You know, you can go to any other a bunch of different sites to get brushes for all different programs, and some of them you're spending 50, 60, $70. But the Clip Studio Paint pages, the stuff that I've seen that were pay brushes, they were like 20, $30 at the most. And they're generally, at least the ones that I've seen, they're generally for are specific related. So like they have brushes that are just for like portraits, and then brushes for um, like scenery, and brushes for animation and all that kind of stuff. So like, and they're easily found. I mean, they're putting it in a spot where it's not hard to find. And like I said, I am really, really impressed with this program. I love using this program. And because I've used pretty much all of the art programs that are out there, I was really, for a long time, I was really, really, really dealing only with Adobe, which I don't want to say anything horrible about anybody, but Adobe is the industry standard in a lot of ways, but to me, they're not overly user friendly. I really don't like the pay per month thing. I think that's ridiculous. I had Adobe products for many, many years, and the CS5, I believe, I had bought. I think that was one of the last ones you could actually buy outright. And I mean, yeah, it was like $6,000 or $7,000, but it was a one-time payment. I really don't care for that subscription. Clip Studio Paint does offer a subscription, and for the EX, it's like $5 a month, I think, which is dirt cheap. But I would really suggest just buying the program outright. It's a one-time fee, especially if you can get the program at like $29. That's perfect. And even 49, $50, what I paid, is still a really good deal for a program this powerful. So as you can see, I'm still inking. Like I said, inking is boring. It's not, the most fun thing in the world to do. But again, if your inks are good and you've got nice clean lines, closed lines, it's really going to help out a lot. Okay, so I've got Doug pretty well inked, so it's time to ink the dog. And I can't remember the dog's name. Maybe if somebody in the comment section can tell me what the dog's name is, that'd be great. But again, I used to watch this show years ago. I don't know if it's still on Nickelodeon. It would be reruns if it was. It was such a good show, and I love cartoons, and really my background is in cartooning, which, like I said, I absolutely love cartooning. So, I mean, we're getting there. If you have used Clip Studio Paint Pro or are using Clip Studio Paint Pro or EX, whatever, why don't you put in the comment section what you think of it? What kind of luck you've had with it. Because again, like I said, I can't say enough good things about the program, and I'm not trying to kiss their butt because that's really not where I'm at. But when you have used as many programs as I have, and with varying results, it's nice to have a program that really has everything all in one spot. Again, because I'm having problems getting that line, I'm going to rotate my canvas and try to get the line here, and there we go. Rotating the canvas is really important because there's a lot of people that have a hard time getting lines the way they want them to, all that kind of stuff. And rotating the canvas just gives you another extra added way to get your lines in quickly, to get them in as closely as possible as to where they need to be. So again, like he has the black in here. I'm gonna make my pen a little bit bigger. Again, left bracket makes your brush or pen smaller. Left bracket makes your um, brush or your pen smaller. The right bracket makes it bigger. I'm just gonna make it just a little bit bigger, and just to get this black in here and make it go quicker, because I'm trying not to make this video be like ridiculously long. It's going to be, but I might just speed through the inking stage depending on how long it takes to get to the other areas of this that I want to. And if I have to do that, it's not a big deal. Like I'll give the beginning part of the inking, and then I'll just speed through it a little bit. And bear with me because I have not done this before. I do have another YouTube channel, but that has nothing to do with art. It's has to do with vaping. I used to do vaping reviews, but I don't do that anymore. So ooh, now we got to bring the brush size back down again because again, like I don't like heavy lines, at least not at first, because like I said, they tend to get very inky, and then if you have to make smaller lines, then it becomes very frustrating. I don't like to do lines like six, seven, eight times. I want to get my line art done. I want it done the way, correctly the first time, so I don't have to keep going over and over it. Because, like I said, that can be really annoyingly frustrating. Also, if you have your own channel, art channel, or whatever, feel free to put that also in the comment section. It's important that artists we try to stick together and we try to help each other out because it's not an easy field and it's not for everyone. But I a firm believer in highlighting other artists and trying to drag not drag try to drive more people to our YouTube channel. There is quite a few people that I follow on YouTube. Kurt, Coloring with Kurt. I've taken quite a few of his courses on Udemy, and he's an excellent instructor. I mean, if you ever want to take a Udemy course, he generally does. He's a comic book colorist, so and he does some really 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 cool stuff. He has a YouTube channel where he goes through the process. Like I said, he also does Udemy courses. I'm not sure if he does courses on other platforms. I definitely know that Udemy is a platform that he uses. I will link to his YouTube page and I will link to his Udemy um, page. So if anyone's interested in the possibility of maybe taking a course with him or wanting to see what he's all about, he's great. Like I said, he's really really good. I really enjoy him. So it looks like the inking's okay. I try to do this as quick as possible, but we'll see more now when I take the sketch layer and I bring it all the way up. And actually, the inking looks really good. Looks really good. Okay, so now we're at the stage where we're going to talk about this. This isn't about comic book coloring, but we're still going to use the same kind of terms, and the term is flatting, and what you put your flat colors in. So they're just colors that you just put in, and you're not putting any highlights or lowlights or shadows or anything. This is just putting the colors in. Now, there are a lot of ways to do this. Some people like to just come up and okay, so let's first, before I do that, let's create a new layer and we'll call it flats. And let's say flats Doug first because I like to label each thing that I do. This is very important. You need to take this layer and put it underneath the multiply layer. Okay. So there's a bunch of different ways to color. I'm going to show you a couple of them. There is a way to do it that is just manually doing it, and I know some people like to do it, and some people don't, and it takes up a lot of time, and it's not my preferred way to do it, although you can do it this way. So let's pick a color that is kind of a skin tone color. Orange. Let's just see what that looks like. Okay. All right. So some people will go in, and I'll use the turnip pen, and they'll make their pen larger, and they'll pick their color, and they'll just go in and start painting. And again, because it's underneath the multiply layer, you're not losing any of your line. See? Okay, you can do it that way. And you can go through and do it all the way like that if that is what you choose to do. That is a really long thing, long way to get it done. And so, like I said, there are some people that find that to be really good. that's the way they're comfortable. For me, not so much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to my multiply layer, and if you can see here, there is it says set as reference layer. It looks like a lighthouse. If you click that, it is now set as a reference layer. So when you go in to the wand here, and most this is called magic wand in almost every other program. Here it's just called auto selectable. The excuse me, the keyboard shortcut is W, and you want to click refer to all layers, because in this way it will go on every layer that you're using. Okay, so we're going to come up here and we're going to click outside the selection. Now when you see that, you're seeing that it is just doing everything outside of the selection. None of the selection is being done. So you come up here to select, and you put um, where's it? Invert selected area. So that will take it out from the outside and put it on the inside. Also, um, in the selector, you can also do something called expand selected area. And I like to do, okay, I'll leave it at that, I guess. Okay, so Control D is to deselect. All right, so let's go in with the magic wand. So let's do his face. If I just click inside of here, you're going to see that it's highlighted. Shift will make more um, selections if you need it. So his face is selected. I'm also going to select his arm and his other hand here. And you just want to keep selecting it until it looks like it's all done. All right, now we move out of here. Go to our paint bucket tool, and you can refer to other layers or whatever. We come in here, and the shortcut for the key for the paint bucket tool is G. On mine, I have gradient and paint bucket under G. So if when you hit G, it becomes the gradient. You just hit G again, it becomes the paint bucket. So now I'm just going to click. And sometimes the selections aren't always like that was my fault because I didn't make every selection correct. So I'm going to click. I'm going to hit Command D to get rid of the selection, and I'm going to hit W again. I'm going to select that area that it missed. This area here, his fingers that I missed. Oh, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to hit shift. See, this is a good thing that I'm making some mistakes because you guys can see, that when you make a mistake, it can be easily fixed. All right, so I did that. G, again, when I hit G, it goes to gradient first, and then G again for the paint bucket tool. And I'm just going to tap in to the areas that I didn't select correctly before. Okay, I'm going to deselect it now, Control D. I'm just going to go in with my pen and make it smaller, and just go in and fix any little pixels that might have been missed. It's not the most 100% accurate, but you know what? It's much faster than trying to control color all of the stuff in on your own. And I forgot we missed his legs here, so I'm going to hit W. I'm going to select the leg here. I'm going to select his leg. I'm going to select right here too because it looks like it misses a little piece. Okay, and then same thing down here. G, G, paint bucket, and paint bucket. Here we go. Control D or Command D, depending on whether you're using a Mac or a PC, will deselect it, and it doesn't look like we missed any pixels. Okay, great. So we're off to a pretty good start. That whole thing took less than, what, 6 minutes to do, which would have taken a lot longer to do if we were trying to color it manually. Next thing I'm going to do is I want to try to get into his mouth a little bit because I just want to get that completely colored in without any issues. Remember, so to add a selection, you hold shift. Let's bring this into black. Okay, Control G to deselect. It's just that little tiny spot right there. Looks like it was missed. And that's that. Okay. So we've got his mouth done. All right. So right now, I'm not sure what color Doug's shirt is. We're just going to play with it. We're just going to make whatever colors we want. So let's make Doug's shirt, let's make it red. Make it a really saturated red because it's a cartoon. And cartoons are fun and, that's that. So here we're going to do, again, we're going to hit W. We're going to click into that selection. We're going to hit Shift to add more selections. Uh, this thing around here, I'm going to leave for right now because I'm not sure what I'm going to do there yet. So GG, tap, 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 and Control D to deselect the section. And I don't see any, well, let me just go in for a second and just maybe a little stray pixel here or there, but this did a much better job with this here. Okay, so this area here, I'm not really sure what I want to do there. Maybe we'll make it, let's try it, excuse me, let's try it blue. And again, I want to use saturated colors because it is a cartoon. And I think it's just more fun. In other things, you're not going to want to use, if you're not doing cartoon type thing, you're not going to want to use a lot of saturated colors just because it doesn't look so good. But with a cartoon, in my opinion, it looks good with more saturated colors. It's more exciting. It's more eye-catching. Again, I'm just tapping in here with the paint bucket. Okay, I guess I didn't make those little tiny selections, which is no big deal. Like I said, just going with the pen and quickly calling that in real quick. There we go. Okay, so that blue, that's not my favorite look, but at this point, I'm just really trying to give a quick tutorial on just the basic things on how to use stuff, and we can always go in and change that later on. So we use this blue as an accent to his shirt. So in the shorts here, I think I want to go blue, but more desaturated and lighter, almost like a gray blue. So again, we're going to take our wands and we are going to start making the selection. Okay. UG, tap, 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 tap. Control D to deselect. Hit the P button just to get your pen up. And there's only little tiny areas. And that's basically it. Okay, so now the shoes. His socks. We're gonna make his socks white, but I don't ever like to use like a pure white. Usually I'll go in. So we got blue and red. Let's stay within the blue. And I'm taking it all the way up and I bring it all the way to white, and then I bring it back just a little bit, just so there's a slight bit of color. Again, we're going to hit the magic wand or the auto select tool. Again, if you come from um, Adobe Photoshop, you are going to you like me, you are going to call it the magic wand. And I did too many. I did too many selections. We're just going to do the socks right now. Okay. Hmm. Not loving that color. So let's take a different color. Let's try still too much. Okay. I think that's okay. It's a little bit more blue than I wanted it to be. Okay, the sneakers. So let's see, we have red, we have blue, we have light blue. Maybe we could do a light red. Trying to keep this just kind of as much uniformity as possible. Here, we don't want pink, but we want a lighter red color. Let's see what that looks like. So we're gonna select here and the bottom of the shoes for right here. So he has the top of his shoes here. Okay. So we'll grab the paint bucket and we will fill it in. Control D to get rid of the selection. And I'm just gonna come in here and just fix it. There's little spots here and there that weren't completely covered. But again, this saves so much time. I mean, doing this manually can take you hours. All right, so in here, I think we're gonna put in like a dark color, not necessarily black, but close to black, like maybe a grayish black. So come down here. Yeah, I think that might be okay. So let's start the selection. This is going to be a little bit more in detailed with the selection because these little areas are small and sometimes it doesn't catch it, or sometimes it catches something that it shouldn't catch. Again, it's not a perfect way to do it, but there's no such thing as a perfect way to do it because you're always pretty much almost always going to have to go in and just fill in little pixels here and there. But again, I keep trying to stress the fact that it's so much easier to uh, do it this way. And like I said, it's not the only way, but it is the way that I do it. And as you work with Clip Studio Paint or whatever program that you're using, you're going to find your own workflow. You're going to find what works best for you. Uh, but watching tutorials and learning from people who are using the program is extremely helpful. At least it was for me, especially in the beginning, because, like I said, the program has a pretty steep learning curve. Okay, so looks like we've got all that. All right, so let's zoom out a little bit, and we have Doug completed. I think he looks pretty good. He looks okay. For what we're doing here, he looks pretty darn good. I'm going to zoom back in, and it's going to be time for the puppy. Uh, let's try to figure out what color we want to make the dog. I think I want to make the dog like a medium brown here, and then here in the highlight area, make it like a lighter brown. But let's see, let's play with that. So we'll go to orange. Um, to green. So maybe this color for here, and this color for the rest. So let's. Oh wait, ooh, I forgot something. Oh no, I didn't. Doug has black eyes. Okay, so let's try this color, this darker color brown. We'll do everything here, here, and here in that color. Then here we'll do the lighter. We'll go a little bit lighter, and that'll be that. And his little whatever this is, we'll do something different with. So again, same thing. W to bring up your selection tool. Shift to make more than one selection. I'm going to try to be able to get this whole face, arms, and legs, all in one selection. Let's see how that works. So now we're hitting G and G, and we're just tapping. That's all we're doing. We're tapping with the paint, the bucket tool. And also, like when you see here, like if their selection is not perfect, don't worry about it. It still saves a lot of time, right? So let's command or control D to deselect, and then just come in with the with your like I said, whatever your brush or your pen, whatever it is that you're looking to use that you use for this last little part, and just quickly go in and make any adjustments that need to be done. Any little stray pixels that left. Here are the hands. Looks like the rest is good. I don't see any other pixels. Okay, so now let's go in and we're going to make this a little bit lighter to do here inside. Okay, that's a little too orange. Okay, let's try that. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, I think that works. So let's make the selection. Remember, W is the shortcut, and it's just gonna. I'm just gonna start with this area first, and that's it. See, there's one tiny little space right here. Boom, done. Okay, and let's see what we're gonna do with this area here. Uh, you know what? I think I'm just gonna. I think this is part of his body. Okay, here is his. Yeah, it is part of his body. Here is his little gold, his little tag. Let's make that tag a gold color. So let's bring it to yellow. Okay, so we do not want a saturated yellow. So let's move down here a little bit. So the fully saturated, just in case you do not know about this, fully saturated will give you like this bright color. The more left you go, the more desaturated it becomes until it becomes white. And the farther down you go, the more desaturated it becomes till it's black. In here, in the middle, you're going to get different shades and tints. Over towards this way, you're going to get a more gray. In the middle, you're going to get a more, I don't know, middle of the road color. But for what we're doing right now, I need it to be yellow. I think I'm going to move it a little bit towards green. And then I'm going to try to find a color that makes it kind of golden. Let me see what that looks like. Oh no, it's way too green. All right, so let's move back here. That's still way too green. Let's see. Sometimes finding the perfect color isn't always easy. Okay, let's try that. I think that's pretty good. All right, so this is okay. So this is where you're really going to save time. When you have like little tiny areas like here, like this, um, it can be really difficult to get in there. But the magic wand does a decent job of getting into these little areas. And again, hold down Shift to make a full like all the selections. And I might have even missed a selection, but it's not that big of a deal. Okay, so we're gonna go here. We're gonna fill it with the pink bucket tool. Key, Control D to deselect, and P to get your pen or brush or whatever it is that you're using out. I'm just gonna come in here and fix that. Okay, so we've got everything to oh his eyes. Okay, for eyes, I do not put white into eyes because eyes are never white, but they are a paler color. So let's see. Let me go to cyan. Let's see, okay, you see, it's a very faint color, which is what we want. And let's go in here. Hit W for the magic wand. Make this selection. Hit Shift to select. Oops. Hit Shift to select. G I. Oh, what happened? Okay. Paint bucket tool would be helpful. Okay. And that's that. Okay, so we have a little tiny spot here that we need to just kind of get into. Hmm, this little area right here. So, in this tutorial, you have learned how to ink from your sketch, how to color, and how to get your selections made doing the easy method. So the next video I will do highlights, lowlights, shadows, and light using this same picture. So I hope everybody enjoyed this video. I hope it helped you out a bit. And thank you so much, Clip Studio Paint, for an awesome program that really helps out workflow. And until next time, guys, thank you and keep drawing.